Welcome back, football fans, to another episode of the Prediction Show, 3rd of December. Tuesday night, the Premier League midweek games brought to you by Amazon Prime are on their way, and we've got a double header tonight. And if you want a video for tomorrow, I'll just get it out of the way before we get into the nitty gritty. If you want a video for tomorrow, 500 likes on this one, and I will be back here tomorrow, 7 a.m, same time, for tomorrow's games, which, no offence, Ipswich, Palace, Leicester and West Ham, tomorrow's games are a bit better. So we're going to put together a bet builder for each of these games in the Premier League, and then we're going to put together a treble, like we usually do for the EFL, across these games. The games that we wanted to be there last weekend, but it was the FA Cup, League One and League Two. We've got some interesting games, to say the least. One of the games you might see at the top here, Wrexham at home. If you've watched the channel recently, you'll know what happens when Wrexham play at home. And congratulations are in order to this user. Well done, you have won a month of Odd Alerts Pro for commenting on the last video. And the same applies for this video, of course. What is the score going to be in the Ipswich Town versus Crystal Palace game? Let us all know in the comments. And if you've got any other predictions, any other stats, any other thoughts, feelings, opinions, whatever, get them in the comments. If you are new here, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And before we get going, a quick plug, an early Christmas present for you. Go and join the Bet Slip Generator Telegram bot. This is one of the winners from that bot just yesterday. Value bets only mode was enabled when this one went out, and over 5 odds. Absolutely fantastic. And of course, if you want to tweak the bet slips that come through, you can head to the bet slip generator and generate your own at any time. If you want a quick link to get to this bot, scroll to the top of Odd Alerts and you'll see this new bots section, and you can join the main Odd Alerts bot where your alerts from the website go, the bet slip generator channel, which is the one I've just talked about, and the tennis dropping odds bot, which sends you dropping odds from Pinnacle as they drop, so that you can have a look around other bookmakers and potentially get value bets based on the Pinnacle drops. And we do that for football as well, but that goes directly to your Odd Alerts bot. So without further ado, let's get into the video. So we start with Leicester against West Ham, and all of the teams that we're looking at here are in the bottom half of the Premier League table. And Ruud van Nistelrooy was at the game away at Brentford, and it started okay for him, didn't it? You know, you saw him clapping when they scored a goal, and then his face and his emotions quickly changed. And he's got a big job on his hands, has Ruud van Nistelrooy. No wins in 5 games and 2 or more goals conceded in every single one of those games. A lot of first half goals conceded in recent times as well for Leicester City. Even 2 first half goals away at Southampton, 1 against Forest. It was 0-0 against Ipswich, but that is the only game in this recent run. They are conceding goals quite often, too often, but with a new manager coming in, will that change in this game? Will there be a new manager bounce? And just expanding on this, it is just 1 clean sheet all season for Leicester. Now for West Ham, in terms of clean sheets as well, they kept 2 clean sheets and then followed it up by conceding 5 at home in the first half to Arsenal. Do you let them off the hook because it's Arsenal? Odegaard was back. Arsenal scored some pretty nice goals in that game, played some good football, and incidentally there was no goals in the second half. And on Leicester City, my feeling is Van Nistelrooy is going to come in and he will not want to lose the game in the first 45 minutes, as they have in a lot of games recently. Even the Brentford game, they were 3-1 down at half time. And you're thinking about this Leicester team, how capable are they of scoring a couple of goals in the second half? They need to keep things tight. They need to stay in the game as long as possible in this fixture. And might Lopetegui be thinking a similar thing? I know that this is all outside of the realm of data. This is kind of bias. It's personalities. It's situational. But it does come back into the fixture and make an impact. You know, Lopetegui conceded 5 out of the game. They've lost at half-time. Similar situation to Leicester. Both managers, especially Lopetegui away from home, he'll want to just kill this game and nullify the crowd as well, because Leicester City fans, they'll be right up for it, especially with Van Nistelrooy in the dugout for the first time. And what is interesting about Leicester City is that scoring is not always the issue. They have scored in every home game, and they have failed to score in just one game all season in the Premier League, which was away at Manchester United. So another home game here. Will they find the back of the net tonight? Now on to the player props tool and to a special young talent that is on loan at Leicester City from Brighton, Facundo Buonanotte. We can see here, last 8 starts, 19 shots, only bettered by Jarrod Bowen and Kudus, who is back from suspension, by the way, or so I believe. Kudus is back, which is a big plus for West Ham. He was absolutely fantastic for them last season. But someone that's been fantastic for Leicester is Buonanotte. Even within this terrible team that got Cooper sacked, the performances have been terrible. But even within that, he has been a shining light. Let's take a look at his recent data. He came back, of course, against Brentford. 2 shots on target and a goal as well. Nothing in the game away at Manchester United, which, as we talked about, was the only Premier League game that they haven't scored in. And then against Ipswich, 3 shots, 2 on target. Nothing against Man United, but he only played 18 minutes. 4 shots against Forest. A goal and 5 shots against Southampton. He went away and didn't play for Argentina. A goal and 3 shots against Bournemouth. An assist and 2 shots against Arsenal. 5 shots against Warsaw. You get the idea. He is a threat. He is a nuisance. He's a very good technical footballer. His movement is good, and he has a knack already at 19 years old for scoring very important goals. Those goals that you saw then and the assists, they were winners. They were key assists. So then let's put together a bet slip, and we talked about the little Argentinian, the 19-year-old magician. It reminds me of Wes Hoolahan, if any of you have ever watched him play. 1.72 for a shot on target, that's going to be the base. And then we're going to beef this up with something that I really do quite like. It's most goals, half with most goals. Why is it always so difficult for me to say that? Half with most goals, second half. Now, we can go back to the odds, to the stats for a second, and just see that Leicester have scored 2 first-half goals at home all season, and West Ham are equal to that as well. They've scored twice. And just going off what I was saying before, Van Nistelrooy, it's 50-50 in how he approaches this. He can either, from the first minute, want to show the fans this is what we're about, but knowing how they have performed and how they have simply lost games by half-time in recent weeks, I think he will want to just be in the game at half-time. And with these games coming thick and fast as well, I think this is a good market. Half with most goals, second. I think it's a good market, generally speaking, to track across the Christmas period as these games come thick and fast, as there's less time for training. I also think there could be fewer goals across this period, so let's have a look where we are in a few weeks. And finally, both teams to get a card. I have checked the referee data, and it gets this to 4s as well. The referee data, very good for both teams to get a card. He is booking both teams in the majority of his games, I think about 85% across the last 150 games. So 4s, let me know what you think about this one. Buonanotte. He's not Italian, but it sounds good to say it like that. There's a lot of Italians in Argentina though, isn't there? To have a shot on target, most goals to be scored in the second half, and both teams to receive a card at 4s. Let me know what you think about this one, and now we move on to the next game. And before we check out Ipswich against Palace, if you're enjoying this video, if you're enjoying the content, let me know in the comments. Any comment automatically entered into a draw to win Odd Alerts Pro. If you've not subscribed yet, what are you playing at? So there is something very funny about this game, and we will go to the results tab, and you should see it straight away. Both of these teams have won once all season. That's not the joke. I'm not that harsh. I'm not that cruel, don't worry. Both Crystal Palace and Ipswich have won once all season. Can you see something that's funny about those 2 victories? They both came against Tottenham. There's something so very Spursy about that, isn't there? The fact that we've got 2 teams that have only won once all season, hardly played great, and they've both managed to beat Tottenham. a Tottenham team that beat City 4-0 recently as well. So there you go, that is Tottenham in a nutshell. For Ipswich, 4 out of 6 games have ended with a draw, and for Crystal Palace, they are winless on the road with 0 clean sheets as well. I think when I watched Palace, I watched them against Newcastle at the weekend as well. They were a little bit more structured, but they just seem to be struggling to get Nketiah and Mateta in the same team. They're struggling to sort of create chances for whichever one of those strikers is on the pitch at that moment in time. Now, this away form as well, these are not the toughest games in the world for Crystal Palace. All right, going to Villa and getting a draw, that's a good result, but look at what Villa have done recently. No wins in 8 games now, is it? They went to Brentford, Chelsea, Everton, Forest, Wolves and Villa. Palace will be disappointed with that. I'm just going off what they did last year. At the end of last year, they showed a lot of momentum. You would have thought coming into this season, but it seems to have gone. 1 win so far this season. The manager should be under a bit of pressure there. And Christmas, the games come thick and fast. He will want to start picking up points. Looking at both teams' results, I checked out the XG and stuff as well, and the goals. I think there is a little bit of value in the double chance for Ipswich Town to get at least a draw. Remember, they are more than capable of drawing, and in that Man United game recently, they actually took the game to Man United in the second half, and they've been unlucky in some games. Everton going there and winning, I think they missed a pen, didn't they, in that game? They had chances, and even against Liverpool in the opening game, they took the game to Liverpool. They play without fear, that is certainly true. So let's have a look at the player props as well, because I want to combine the double chance with a few other markets. So Ipswich against Crystal Palace, and if we're looking at total shots, you've got Eze 27 in his last 10, Mateta with 21, and Nketiah is up there as well. Amari Hutchinson, great player. Delap 15. Also interesting with Delap as well, if you just look at fouls, he is right up there as well. 21 fouls in his last 10 games. He's a pressing forward. That's what they do, isn't it? So if you can get it on your bookmaker, a foul and a shot or something, could be a nice double. Bet365 do not allow it, which is also quite annoying. So the player I'm going to look at for a foul is Leif Davies. He plays left back for Ipswich, and in the previous 3 games against Forest, United and Spurs, he has committed 2 fouls in each of those games, and he will be up against an advancing Munoz from right wing back, who actually scored for Palace at the weekend, and Sarr as well, who floats into that sort of half space where he will be occupying as well. So I think he's very capable for a foul, and as you'll see in a minute, the odds are quite generous. So I mentioned there could be a lack of goals around this festive period, and that is what's going to make the base for me. Under 4 goals is what I'm going to go with. Let me know what you think about that one in the comments. And then I'm also going to go with Ipswich or draw, which takes it up to evens straight away. And then player fouls committed, we are going to look at Leif Davies, which gets this to 3s, and you can boost it by 25% or whatever if you want to do that. Under 4 goals, match result will be Ipswich or draw. Leif Davies to commit a single foul in the game. What do you think about that one, and what do you think about both of those Premier League games? Let us all know in the comments before we jump to the EFL. Now on to the EFL, and the first game in the list. We've mentioned them on a few of the previous videos. Every time they've been playing 1.8, we had them at, and then we had them at 2.05, and they are over evens once more. Wrexham at home. Now they are playing a more difficult opponent in Barnsley, but they are still at home. Let's just take a look at their home form. And I can tell you now, looking at the probability model before I came on to do this video, that the double chance is a value bet, as is the home win. Home win is a marginal value bet, but we will take a look at the results and we can see that they are near perfect at home, Wrexham. So 4 clean sheets in the last 4 games. They're playing the team that are 6th. They played and beat the team that was 7th in their previous home game, Lincoln. That is the game that we mentioned as well. And overall, they have lost in recent times. It was away at Stockport County. And for Barnsley, they come into this with no wins in the last 3 games. But away from home, you can see where the odds are coming from. They are very, very decent away from home. Absolutely no doubt about that. We can actually see in terms of points on the road that Barnsley are second. They have the second best away record other than Wycombe, who we will talk about on this episode, because my word, Wycombe, slow down, give somebody else a chance. So that is Wrexham Barnsley. We can just take a look at the odds for you as well. 2.3, if you want to do a comparison, you can see that the best you'll get is 2.38 with William Hill. Now let's look at the probability model and have a look at over 1.5 goals, and we will see that the highest rated game comes from League Two, and it is MK Dons against Chesterfield. And we are going to look at the goals first, and we'll see that away from home, Chesterfield averaging 2.38 goals per game. Now MK Dons 1.67 per game. Both teams conceding 1 goal per game on average. And with MK Dons, I do believe they're coming into better form now, if I remember correctly. Yes, they've won 5 in a row, scoring 2 or more goals in every single one of those games. So whilst that average of goals there was 1.67, if we're talking about the last 10 games, it is well above that. And Chesterfield, pretty good on the road, scoring in the majority of games. They've actually scored 3 or more goals in 4 away games so far this season. How will this one go? We're going to be looking at over 1.5 goals for this one. BTTS is potentially a good bet as well. You can see it's landed in each of those 5 victories that they've had recently, but it is more risk, just know that. We spoke about Wycombe a moment ago, and we're going to talk about them now because they are away at Exeter City, who have just 1 victory since the 17th of October. Now, they have faced some tricky teams in that spell, but this is how a team, goes up and down the table. This is how you rank. How do you do against the teams that are above you? They've lost to Birmingham, they've lost to Wrexham, they drew with Lincoln. They beat Charlton at home 1-0, lost to Huddersfield, who were 6th at the time, and they lost to Reading as well, who have been doing a bit better in recent times. So they failed to score in 4 of the last 5 games. Now for Wycombe, are you ready for this? They are probably the form team in England, I would say. Certainly not Manchester City anyway. In all competitions, they have won 11 in a row. It might be 12 now after the FA Cup game actually, but regardless, this is absolutely fantastic. The only defeat in recent times was to Aston Villa in the Carabao Cup. And what's very, very interesting about the League One form is that the only defeats have been to Birmingham and Wrexham, who you would expect to be pushing them for an automatic playoff place. Is it sustainable? That's the question that everybody is asking. I don't think everybody is asking it. There's probably more important questions to be asking in the world, but that's what I'm asking to you today. Is this sustainable? Will they get promoted? I think they could possibly be pushing for a 2nd place finish. It's a very, very interesting time this, the next sort of month or two. So many games, and if you go into this period like they are, and you can maintain it, and you can get some big away wins like tonight, then you'll be flying, and you'll create that gap, and that confidence will come from that. And have the bookmakers learnt their lesson, because they are over evens once more, Wycombe. So what we're going to do is the double chance, and if you watched a previous live stream, we had double chance and over 1.5 goals. It was over evens. Tonight the odds aren't as generous for over 1.5 goals, of course, but we will go with the double chance to make up our treble. Let's put it together right now. So 2.27, Wrexham or draw, over 1.5 goals in MK Dons, and Wycombe or draw. 12 wins in a row for Wycombe. Can they get the job done here? Let me know what you think about this one in the comments. Best of luck if you're following. If you've got any tweaks or games you would like to add or remove or swap or whatever, are you brave enough to go straight for the Wycombe win and straight for the Wrexham draw? Maybe you'll be rewarded for that bravery. Now let's get on to Man vs Machine. So Man vs Machine uses the bet slip generator, and you can get to that by clicking this new to odd alerts button. What's new on odd alerts? You can click it and then go bet slip generator, and it will open in a new tab, and we're gonna target odds of, let's go 2.5, 2.7, isn't it? This is trebles, so we're gonna say Let's allow 1.2 because we have a 1.2 in there. Value bets only, let's take that off for this instance. And we've got double chance, haven't we? We've got over 1.5 goals. We've not got BTTS. We'll go double chance, and then we'll keep this on at the bottom because I really do like this market, over 0.5 goals. Do we make it EFL only as well? Should we do that? Or do we let it pick from whichever leagues? Let's have a look, shall we? We will go England, and we will select the Championship, League 1, League 2, Premier League, and let's see what it selects for us. And you know what? Let's actually allow the Vanarama National League South and North, because I did see that there is a few fixtures in there today. So that's it. That's all you have to do for the league selection. You can see that it automatically updates here. We hit get, and we get some games, and we are going to go with the one that is closest. So it is going to be this top one. So Cheltenham and Port Vale, over 1.5 goals. These are all today. Rotherham, Lincoln City. It is an over 1.5 goals treble from the machine. And remember, these are, some of them might be value bets actually, but it's not a rule. We're not saying that every single item has to be value bets. That doesn't mean that some of them can't be in this instance. So this is it. Let me save this so we can check it as the games progress. And let's just see if it did pick any other markets out for us. We've got Stevenage to score, 77% probability, 1.22 odds. Stevenage to score again. Bradford to score against Barrow, 1.25. Wimbledon, over 1.5 goals. Yeah, quite a few games with high probability. You can see that our game is there as well. MK Dons Chesterfield. Salisbury against Worthington. That's a game from the National League South. The away team to score, 1.22. Bolton game, over 1.5 goals. The odds are all quite low here. As we scroll down, the odds for the slips get lower and lower. But we did meet our target odds. We got 2.27 on the treble that we put together, the man, and then on the machine it is 2.31. So let me know which one you think will win. Which one is going to win out of those two? Which one are you more confident in? Of course, we've checked the data for our one. This one, the machine knows all, doesn't he? So, or she. So that is the video. Don't forget, if you want one tomorrow, 500 likes. Let me know what the score is going to be in the Ipswich versus Palace game. And will Ruud van Nistelrooy get his first win as Leicester City boss? It's been a pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully.